Imagine a world where the meaning of fresh isn't the scent of soap, but the aroma of dried herbs covering the musk of 1,000 unwashed days. In medieval England, a hot bath wasn't simply a luxury. It was considered a danger, a frightening opening of the body defenses to hidden threats. In the sharp cold of a medieval English morning, the routine begins not with the rush of a faucet, but with the soft, trembling splash of water from a small basin. Ordinary people of 14th century London, or a drafty manor in Yorkshire, the thought of immersing one's entire body in hot water seems strange, even risky. Instead, the morning starts with a dry cleanse. You would stand beside your bed, perhaps, on a floor layered with rushes unchanged for months, and dip a strip of coarse linen into cold water to clean your face and hands. This is likely the only water you will touch that day. The medical scholars of the time, haunted by the dreadful shadow of the Black Death, spread a serious warning. Hot water opens the pores. To them, a pore is not a path for skin to breathe, but a weakness in the fortress walls of the body, an opening through which miasma, the deadly corrupted air, could enter and destroy you from within. Therefore, a layer of dirt is not viewed as filth, but as protective covering, a defense against disease. A nobleman may change this garment several times each day, believing the fresh fabric is purifying him. Even while his skin never touches soap, this belief becomes so widespread that revealing the bright, white edge of a linen shirt turns into a symbol of status, a public sign that you are wealthy enough to remain clean without becoming wet. If you belong to the aristocracy, your cleanliness depends almost entirely on the cleansing power of your linen undershirt. This becomes the great medical shortcut of the age, the belief that fine white linen works like a biological sponge. The theory claims that as you perspire, the linen pulls impurities and toxins from your pores and traps them within the cloth, effectively cleansing the body without dangerous exposure to water. Meanwhile, dental care is a harsh, painful process. You do not reach for a toothbrush, but for rough linen dipped into a coarse blend of ground salt, crushed bone, or herbs. If a tooth begins to fail, there is no gentle treatment. The pain is blamed on a toothworm eating at the root, and the solution is often iron pliers, held by a barber surgeon, with no anesthetic to soften the scream. The resulting smile of the period is rarely bright, often filled with gaps and always cautious. The air around you is thick, not with the scent of washed bodies, but with heavy lingering perfumes of musk, rosewater, and exotic spices, applied generously to disguise the unavoidable biological reality of a population that lives, sleeps, and works in unchanged skin. If the absence of bathing is a quiet personal struggle, the management of waste in medieval England is a loud, overwhelming catastrophe. that assaults the senses from miles away. For a modern observer, the most shocking realization isn't dirty faces, but the total absence of sanitary infrastructure. We now consider a basic human right. To understand this reality, you must look first at the pinnacle of luxury, the castle. Here the bathroom is known as a garderobe, a polite term meaning wardrobe. It is little more than a stone bench with a hole projecting from the castle wall, suspended above a stagnant moat or massive cesspit far below. There is no water to flush away the evidence. Gravity alone performs the task. In the heat of summer, the rising fumes from the waste below become so powerful, they make your eyes water. Yet in a strange twist of medieval ingenuity, this foul odor serves a practical purpose. You would often find a nobleman's finest robes hanging inside this very chamber, because the strong ammonia fumes rising from human waste are capable of killing fleas and moths. The toilet becomes, quite literally, a fumigation room. Step beyond the castle walls into the cramped alleyways of London, and conditions shift from unpleasant to logistically terrifying. Common citizens lack the luxury of moats. They depend on communal latrines or simple wooden buckets, emptied into backyard pits, or far too often into open street gutters. The city becomes a living organism, producing more waste than it can possibly contain. It survives only because of a shadow class of workers, the gong farmers, unsung tragic figures of medieval sanitation, bound by law to work only at night, so polite society is spared the sight and smell of their labor. Their work is nightmarish. They descend into suffocating cesspits, often standing waist-deep in human waste, shoveling the city's filth by hand. It is a deadly profession. The toxic fumes trapped in these pits can kill instantly, suffocating a man within moments. Above ground, another battle continues. Strict sanitation laws exist, but are almost universally ignored. While workers scrape the streets, they fight a losing war against endless debris. The true street cleaners are pigs, animals roaming freely through towns, acting as living garbage disposals, consuming discarded food and refuse. Yet while solving one problem, they create another, leaving behind waste that layers the cobblestones in filth. The result is an atmospheric mixture so overwhelming. Travelers describe the smell of a medieval city as a physical blow, a blend of rotting straw, animal waste, and the sharp chemical sting of tanning workshops, where urine and dog feces are used to cure leather in open vats. In this world, you do not merely see the city, You inhale it. The final question troubles every modern observer. Without toilet paper, what happens when the task is finished? The answer reveals a harsh reality. Cleaning oneself becomes a direct negotiation with nature. If wealthy, you might use soft wool or scraps of linen. But for most people, solutions come from whatever lies nearby: moss, broadleaves, hay, and straw. A process both uncomfortable and hygienically uncertain. Often leaving behind as many problems as it removes. The Romans once used a sponge on a stick soaked in vinegar, but even that modest technology has been lost to time, replaced by these cruder, more painful methods. This lack of sanitation creates a biological feedback loop. Hands are rarely sterilized, cleaning is ineffective, and society lives in constant reinfection. With intestinal parasites, it is a grim truth that nearly every adult, from blacksmith to bishop, carries worms. Silent passengers of the Middle Ages, organisms consuming precious calories, earned through exhausting labor, a hidden tax upon the human body. Yet judging these people solely by filth misses their extraordinary resilience. They should be viewed, not with disgust, but with awe. Their immune systems are forged through constant exposure, capable of enduring bacterial loads that would hospitalize a modern human. They fight back using the tools available: herbal medicine, vinegar, and alcohol. They are not dirty by choice, but limited by technology. When we look back at medieval England, we should not see only the absence of showers or moss used instead of paper. We should see the immense effort required to maintain civilization amid biological chaos. The history of medieval hygiene is not a story of laziness. It is the story of a desperate struggle against the human body itself, a battle for survival, where cleanliness was the ultimate luxury, purchased through unimaginable labor.